Emma, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you very much.
So good to be doing this Thinking Trap series with yourself and Tackle Your Feelings, which is really, really cool. A lot of these have been super relevant for me. And today we are going to be talking about jumping to conclusions. But before we jump to that, see what I did there?
Yeah, very good. Very
That's
good.
pretty good. I've been doing this for a while. Pretty good at it. The last couple episodes we spoke about some really cool subjects, one being shoulding and musting. Can you give us a quick rundown on that?
Yeah, so shoulding and musting is a thinking trap that's problematic when we use shoulds or musts to place unreasonable demands on ourselves or on others.
You're like a dictionary. That was really good.
Thank you.
The other episode we did was on catastrophizing. Quick rundown on catastrophizing.
So catastrophizing, put simply, is where we jump to the worst case scenario and we assume that things are going to go really, really badly.
Yeah, that was a good one. I learned a lot in that one. So if you want to go back and listen to those episodes, please do. They are extremely great. Today, we are talking about jumping to conclusions. Where do we start here?
So jumping to conclusions, probably, I think, one of the most common thinking traps. And there's kind of two parts to this. So we've got what's known as fortune telling, and we've also got what's known as mind reading. So we're getting a little bit crystal ball-y. So fortune telling is where we make a prediction about what's going to happen in the future. And often this prediction is that something bad or something negative is going to happen. And then mind reading is all about thinking we know what someone else is thinking.
Yeah, I've fallen in both those traps. Is this series for me? Is this actually going out, or is this like something where we're just doing it because everyone thinks I need to go through these?
Yeah, I actually did
Do you
a
reckon it's
little
like-
bit of a profile on you, and I was like, this is what he needs. We'll work this in.
Fantastic. So where do you want to? Which one would you like to start with first? The fortune telling.
Yeah, let's
Sounds
do.
good.
Yeah, let's do.
So fortune telling is a situation where something happens, a bit like what we spoke about with catastrophizing.
It's similar, very similar to catastrophizing. Yes.
Yeah, where we are in a situation, something happens, and
Yeah.
we just think, okay, I know where this is going to go. It's going to go straight to this probably worst case situation or an non-ideal situation.
Yes.
How do we catch ourselves out?
Yeah, again, so we're trying to notice ourselves when we're doing this.
Yeah.
I think it's one that can happen really commonly and quite subtly as well, because catastrophizing, which is really in itself a form of fortune telling, because again, we're predicting that something bad has happened, but that's going right to the extreme, whereas our fortune telling might be a little bit more moderate in terms of just predicting that something's not going to go so well, but still making us feel not very good.
Sure. And then mind reading. Mind reading is probably, so fortune telling then is maybe more about ourselves, and personally we're thinking that in there. Mind reading is probably when we bring that jump into conclusions and we're thinking about a significant other or someone else in our life, might be a boss, a colleague, a teammate.
Yep.
We're trying to read their mind and then come up with our own conclusion.
Yeah, this is really common. So it would be, for example, if I was like, oh, Dill thinks I'm an idiot. Thinks I've got absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. And
Darcy
he's like,
didn't tell you that, did he?
Why did she come on this podcast?
He didn't say that, did he? He didn't tell you that.
But, it's the classic, you're walking down the street, you see your friend, you give them a big wave and they give you nothing.
Yep.
And you go, oh, God, they must be mad at me. What have I done? Racking your brain. And then, you're feeling crappy because you think, oh, God, I've upset this person. What's happened? What do I need to do?
Yep.
Yep.
Have you had situations like that in your life? Because one sort of jumps out to me, especially with mates and friendships. I think it's a big one. Like, I'm not generalising on gender here, but we know as males we're not great at talking to our mates about certain things. And I know there's been numerous occasions with numerous friends where I've thought, oh, are they pissed off with me? Like, what have I done?
Yeah.
Until you actually dig a bit deeper and they've just been going through something themselves. And you can internalise that to think, oh, they hate me, like I've done something to them.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with you.
100%. And we as humans typically are a little egocentric.
Yes.
So we tend to relate things that happen back to ourselves. So if a person seems a little off, someone's a bit snippy with us, then we go, oh, that must be about me. What have I done? And then, of course, that can change the way that you then interact with that person. Some people jump more to, oh, they're mad at me, I'm not even going to talk to them. And then, that can create problems down the track. So it's one we really commonly do.
Yeah, that latter one that you just said about I've seen so many, and even to be completely honest, situations in my life where I've thought that too. It's like, oh, this bloke's pissed off at me. Oh, well, I'm pissed off at you.
Yeah.
And then you just create this thing that's out of like literally nothing. No one even knows why they're not talking.
Yeah. And the other person then when they see it, they're like, oh, he was a bit
Yeah.
off. What's going on there? Maybe have I done something? You should see this kind of, how this could spiral out of control. Yeah.
Not fantastic. Strategies that we can do to work on this.
Yes. So we need to, again, recognise. Yes, good, very good. A big part of our Tackle Your Feelings program as well. We really need to recognise that we're doing it. So again, I always find one good way to know when to look at what you're thinking is if you're feeling some sort of emotion that feels a bit yuck. So if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling sad, if you're just feeling a bit off, I always think, okay, this is a good time to think about my thinking. So what's actually going on in my mind in response to this situation? So the person's walked off down the street and I think, they must be mad at me. I must have done something. So I start to feel a bit worried. I feel a little bit anxious. And then I can go, okay, what am I thinking? Okay. And then again, we want to look at how realistic is this thought? So a little bit similar to our catastrophizing, but we're kind of trying to analyse, what's the likelihood of this thought actually being true? So if, the person I wave to in the street, they give me peanuts and keep walking, what's another alternative explanation for this behaviour? So what could be another reason someone didn't wave back?
They could have been on a phone call. They've got a stressful interview coming up themselves. They're in their own head. Maybe they've done the same thing to someone else and they're thinking about it too.
100%. Yeah. A whole heap of different, things that could be going on in that scenario, but we're just obviously focused on the one and the one that kind of involves us. So it's going, okay, I need to look at alternative explanations for this and then think, okay, and actually then out of those alternative explanations, what is probably more realistic for what's happened? Probably they just didn't see me.
Yeah.
And that's it. They're in their own world. Most people are in their own head when they're walking along, and that's it.
Another situation too, I always find it's cool to bring up maybe a couple different situations because that's definitely one that's there. And as I said, there's so many scales, but when it's with jumping to conclusions, it doesn't matter what it is. It can be in any situation. The workplace. Let's try and brainstorm a situation where something's happened in the workplace that we try not to jump to conclusions with.
Yeah. So I think probably a common one is like maybe email from a boss that says, "Oh, can we meet tomorrow?"
See, that shouldn't be allowed, I think. Firstly, that
You're like,
shouldn't.
actually, that's illegal.
Firstly, that should be illegal, I think, personally, myself, because the jumping to conclusions and catastrophizing, that is never a good one.
Yeah.
But it does happen.
Yeah.
And some people don't. Like, my business partner here, he's very a logical person, and I sometimes do get in these thinking traps about this stuff. And I said, mate, like, just so you know, I actually really don't like it when you do that because I know it's nothing, but I'm still just ticking over all night. So I've actually had that conversation with him before about not doing it.
Yeah, 100%.
But if it does happen and you haven't had that conversation, let's go through. So respond. Obviously, you recognise, you're feeling, oh, shit, okay.
Yeah, I'm
Chest starts to beat.
Yeah.
What could this be? You're thinking, what did I do yesterday? Did I do something wrong?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, what's he want? Is this about, something I'd done previously? This is probably. It seems to be, yes, as we've discussed, that we're always going to something. It's not a good reason, for the email. It's not that they want to be like, you're doing such an amazing job, which could, be the case.
Could,
but it's that something's going wrong and I'm about to get told off.
Yeah.
So recognising first. So we're feeling anxious. We're like, I've got this meeting tomorrow. Ugh. Okay, what's going through my mind? Okay, I'm worried. I'm going to get in trouble. It's not going to go well. Step one. Then we go, okay, what's some alternative explanations? So what could be some other reasons the email was sent?
Well, they could be working in a certain division that has an important quarter coming up. They want to catch up before that. They could have an event that's, coming. There could be a special task that they're actually going to be equipped with. Yeah. That, could be all positive things that are actually,
cool.
Something good could actually happen.
Yeah, 100%. So then it's going, okay, we're just trying to balance out the thinking a little bit. Yeah. So we actually don't know, what that meeting is about. So we do have to sit with some uncertainty, which can be tricky. But it's instead of going, it's 100% going to be something bad, it's about going, well, actually, it could also be something good, or it could just be, more operational catch up. So trying to balance that out so that we can feel feel a little bit more calm and relaxed going into that type of meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's one of those ones too. Unfortunately, with some of these things, we can't feel comfortable all the time, and nearly getting used to living in that discomfort can actually help us then build that resilience when it does happen again. So it's a hard one. As much as like I'd go to my psychologist, like just give me a situation where I can just feel good all the time.
Yeah, no.
It's probably not really possible. There are some situations that are tricky, but the better we can equip ourselves with these these toolkits to be able to recognize, think a bit more logically in the situation, can help us sort of tackle it head on.
Yeah, 100%. I love that point that you made there. I think we, as a society, are not the best at sitting with difficult emotions, but it's actually really important that we allow ourselves to do that and know that they're going to shift and they're going to change and things are going to move and I'm going to feel better again. But I guess recognise that if we didn't have the crappy stuff and the crappy feelings, we're not going to have the highs as well. So it's just practicing and kind of getting a little bit more used to that.
Yeah, it's a really good point you make, and I think it's something that is important to talk about. These are feelings that we are going to face, and there isn't just a Band-Aid we can put on them. So it's just getting used to being in them and understanding that it is normal to feel that way.
Yep.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, for sure. I think we can react with, oh God, I need to fix it, or like, oh, I don't feel good you just have those days where you wake up and you're like, I feel like crap today. Like my mood's just not good. Like I'm just not feeling it. But instead of trying to push against that, I think if we can just go, that's okay. Like that's normal to have a day where you feel like crap. And it's not going to be like this forever or every day, and something in the day will probably shift that. But I think it can be good to try and practice just sitting and rolling with that.
100%. Love that one. Thank you so much for your time today, Emma. Really appreciate it. Next episode, we're going to be talking about overgeneralization.
Yes.
Big word.
It is. And you said it really well.
Thank you. So I was sort of reading it and I was like, that looks like 3 words, but it's one.
Yeah. Yep. Well, yeah, there's multiple components.
There's overgeneralization.
A lot of syllables.
It's a lot. Anyway, we need to wrap this up because I'm starting to lose it a bit here. Give us a quick rundown on overgeneralization.
Yeah, so overgeneralizing in a nutshell is where we take something that's happened in the past or the present and we impose that on all future situations. It's words like always, never, everyone.
Got cut from my team, I'm going to get fired from every job.
Yep.
Like it. Let's talk about that next week. I think we're going to have some really good takeaways for that one. If you want to check out more of the episodes, please do. As we said, we've spoken about some really cool topics throughout this. All of those will be in the show notes, so make sure you check them out. Also, head to the Tackle Your Feelings Instagram page at TYF_AU and the website at tackleyourfeelings.org.au to book your club into a workshop.